man, and welcome back to the Man Cave Experience with myself, Cedric and my main man, Ron, serving from Growth Rings, my dog, my ace, man. Man, it just seemed, man, this week just seemed like it takes forever for us to get up, and we're back here. It just seemed like it's been a while, but it's only been a week, and here we are, man. Everything is cool here in the great state of Texas, or the Republic of Texas, some people call it. Starting to, yeah, man, it's starting to cool off. We only at 99s and 98s now, so we really haven't had triple digits. Little man running around like a madman.
Crazy.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy because his birthday is kind of in the middle. So either way, I'm like, man, he's almost 2 or whatever, and it's right in the middle. But yeah, man, everything good in my neck of the woods. What's happening with you out there, man?
I am, just checking in. It's an evening here in Southern California. We've had actually some decent fall weather. It hasn't been triple digits for us either. Kind of seems to be like every other week it gets hot and it cools down, so it's been nice. Yeah, just in a good place in life. As I've mentioned, before we got on the call, just lots of things kind of moving in my life, but just really feeling connected with just being present. I think that's just been kind of my my journey over the past 10 years is just how can I continue to show up in the best way that I can. I definitely don't always do that. I sometimes get stuck back in my head. I try to do more, kind of connection to my heart and really focus that energy there, which definitely is more accessible to me. But I'm work in progress, right? I think that's probably why we continue to do this channel and put this information out there to you, the listener, is just to be real with ourselves. Not that we've got life figured out, or we're the ones that are giving you the reason to take actions in your life. We're here to just express what we feel about certain topics and then to put it out there, and whatever resonates with you, whatever doesn't. And I guess for us as men, we oftentimes just hold these feelings inside and we don't allow them to be released, whether it's to a friend or to a spouse or to our children. I think we just oftentimes just hold these feelings inside, and I think it's just a great place for us to show up, here in the Man Cave. Just love the whole idea of being in the cave, and just being real, just being willing to do the work, show up, the best way I can for myself, first of all, and for you, Cedric, and then you, the listener. Just, as you listen into this, how are you showing up for yourself? I mentioned the other day about the question of, we focus on what we're doing in our life, and I know, Cedric, you've heard this. It's like, who am I being in my life, and how important and how different things can shift for you when you really ask that question. Who am I being as a father? Who am I being as an employee of this company? Who am I being, as I sit here listening to this podcast? That's an important thing to understand, because otherwise we're just kind of going through the motions, and we're just, kind of figuring life is just playing us versus us being in control of our journey. So as you can tell, I'm fired up, ready to go.
Nice. Man, we was chopping it up like right before, we started recording, and you talking about being, and I was like, man, what you wanted to chop it up on is they kind of important in a lot of people's lives. I mean, some people don't have the best relationships with this person, but a lot of us do. But no matter what, without a mom, none of us would be here. They're like the superheroes in my book. And I didn't really start understanding it until I started seeing what my child's mom, Kanisha, going through it. Just like, oh, like I could have the option of just laying down, when he wake up in the middle of the night because she breastfeed, and it's like, oh man, it's like, wow, you have to, like, y'all are, hey, mad props. So man, what prompted you to wanna even chop it up about the mom, your moms, or just moms in general?
Yeah, I think, a couple things. So my wife, who's obviously a mom as well, she's a professional as well, so she juggles a lot in her life. So just really seeing how she's been able to navigate, being a successful businesswoman in the world for many many years that we were together, and then willing to step into something different for her, not knowing what that is going to look like, for her to go through the experience of being pregnant, to let go of a career that she loved and was connected to, and to have that uncertainty during this process of what's going to be at the other end of that, right? How's when she, when she's able to move through being a mother, and then my son goes off, and leaves the house, you know, you I wonder as well about myself. It's like who am I going to be, and what am I going to be as a result of his being in our life for all these years. So I just look at her as being just an amazing mom, just always giving him what he needs, what he wants, and nothing held back. And it's so awesome just to see, the laughing, the crying, just the connection, just knowing that he's always going to have this inner peace, knowing that his mom just truly loves him for who he is. And I think, so then then I look at my mom, and my mom and I have had a great relationship, but we at times haven't had just a very ongoing conversational type relationship. And and I think about that, and I appreciate all that she's done for me through my life, and really understand more and more in talking with her about her journey and her story, and remembering back when my parents were together, and just the upbringing that she allowed us to experience. My father just hard worker and doing all these things in his life, her being more of a stay-at-home mom for much of her life, and then having to pick up and become a professional as a result of some bad decisions that my father made. But still being a mom, still being somebody that I can always call upon, that always gives me the love that I'm looking for. So I just I really appreciate both having a mom as well as seeing my wife be a mom, and just appreciating just the long-term effects that's going to have on my life, just the peacefulness of having just that connection that I can let go of with my son, knowing that he's got this great relationship with her, and then just this lasting relationship that even though I'm not always deeply connected with my mom and talking to her on a daily basis, I still feel that connection through our conversations, that we care and love and appreciate each other. And she always just tells me how much she loves me. And she actually watches the show from time to time. So she may be listening into this episode and hearing me talk about her. Hope she's okay with that. But it's just, again, just being a mom, I think it's just a big job for anybody to take on. And I'm glad I'm a dad. I guess I look at the challenges that I see them going through, and not that we don't have not that we don't have our own challenges, as far as being a father to a son or a daughter. It's different, right? So I think just for me, it's just that gratitude, appreciation for what I've been able to experience on both sides. So, and you've had that too, right? I mean, you've got your mom that has been through a lot with you. I mean, you've told me some of the stories of her kind of always bringing you to new places in your life that you had to experience and adapt to, and now you've got the mother of your child. So I'm interested for you how things have shifted in your life, kind of having a mom, and then now having somebody that's taking care of your young son, that looks to her and nurtures, looking for nurturing things, and just the love that she's able to give him. I'm just curious how that's evolved for you.
Oh man, so much, so much. The realizations are slowing down as he gets older, his process. But man, I really, the relationship, the relationship with my mom and the love I have for her has definitely changed since having uh, my son. Because it was a lot of stuff that I just kind of took for granted or never really realized because I was just a kid. Once you're grown and gone and out of the house, you don't really experience a lot of that stuff. But then having him come along, it's like, whoa, And then for me, like, I really sit back and I'm like, wow, she had three of us by herself, and here we are, it's Kanisha and I, and we have one, and we can see the finances that's going out. And it's like, y'all, you made this happen with three kids, and you still like, and so all of that stuff and seeing that, it's like, oh, okay, okay. And seeing how Kanisha is with Mosiah, and I could see some of that stuff like when I was, a smaller kid, and mom being able to play with me and just, making all of those connections. It's like, yo, okay, cool. Um, and then it's kind of sad a little bit too, because she was there by herself and she was working a lot. So we didn't really get to see her a whole lot, but then it's like a deeper appreciation, like, oh, okay, maybe you weren't there to teach me all of this, all of these selfish things I probably wanted, but I still learned some good, I learned a lot of good stuff, from just watching her. Uh,
And moms just seem to do it, right? They just seem to, like, nothing's going to keep them back from giving the love to their children. At least that's what it sounds like you're saying, as well as what I've experienced. It's like, I was talking earlier about, my mom having to go to work. I mean, that wasn't something that my mom or my dad was anticipating, just because we, in a good position in our life to, for her not to have to work. But circumstances came up to where a bad decision led to my father losing his job, or just some severe issues that came around his job, and she had to step up and take action to keep us afloat as a family. So, it's just that unconditional, you know, desire to just ensure the family is still in a good place as much as possible, right? Some things are
yeah.
kind of difficult to navigate through, but she always did her best. I mean, she was quiet in nature, and that, I think, I kind of took that kind of same uh, trait from her, just kind of being more inward, not expressing myself as much. But I find that connection with her. I think her and I are able to have that similar disposition on expression in our life, and be able to communicate about that. And because we all obviously come from different places. So, what happened in her childhood as she grew up, with her parents, those behaviors or experiences or memories, get folded into, new family and new situation. And it's not easy, right? We as parents, as a father, as a mother, or having, or seeing, the mother of your child, just brings up, all the things that we have experienced at a different way in our life, and we usually just remember those things versus, how things could be different based on somebody else's experience. So I'm just curious for you, when you get home and you see, Kanisha just spending time with Messiah, and just that joy that she has. I mean, how does that? Where do you feel that in your body, or how do you feel that, or what goes through your mind when you just, something you never even fathomed having in your life? This beautiful son, and the mother that's there taking care of him. What are you still kind of like in awe of just this whole experience that you've been, kind of stepped into?
Most times, because it's still like every day is new, and it's weird. Although I see him playing all the time, it's just, I don't know. I get it. I don't want to say excited. It's not the. I just get the warm and fuzzies. That's the best way I can explain it. Because sometimes they'll just be sitting there playing, and I look over on the couch, and I just catch myself just staring, just like, wow, like, look at my little family. Here we go. Um, and then, I have those little spurts of the possible jealous mind. Because what I mean is like, you see them bonding over there, and it's like, well, dang, dude, I was just trying to play with you. You wasn't coming to me like that, or,
And I think,
we've been home.
yeah, I think there is something to that, the mother son connection and the father daughter connection. I think that's not necessarily consistent throughout all relationships, but I think there is that, because they want to know their mom. I mean, they're probably so similar to their dad to where they just kind of take that as not necessarily a given, but they see, that they're going to be very similar to a certain extent as far as their body and the things that are very similar to, their dad. But, here's a mom that has completely different attributes, different dispositions, different reactions, coming from a lot more of her feminine energies that, he's going to step into someday, right? So, as he's sitting here experiencing his mom, he's most likely or probably thinking about, someday I may be in a relationship with a woman. What does that look like? I'm seeing how my mom is, and you know, I guess having a better early on having that relationship with her, I think gives him the ability to connect with women in general, because it's about being a son to her, but it's also, she shows that side of her as being a woman that he can just see her in that light as well. I mean, obviously, she is his mom, but she's also a successful woman. She's an amazing wife to me. So she's he's experiencing just not the mom part of her. He's seeing and experiencing other parts of her that are completely different than what he experiences as her as the mom. So
Yeah, yeah. Man, you know what? I was kind of like it's curious. I can't even talk. Curious, because we talk about men and all of that. We're talking about like moms. Um, so how was the conversations with Anthony coming up, like from you witnessing Danny having with Anthony? Because there's that softer side, like you said, there's that softer side. So have you witnessed that? Like her being able to or try and draw that out of him, or is that something that doesn't really come up?
yeah, I mean, I'll see them just just laying in the bedroom or laying on the bed and just him asking her questions, and he knows that she's willing to kind of talk about pretty much anything. And I think we try to just, open that space up for him. He's 14 years old now, so he's hearing and learning, a lot of things from others. He's kind of seeing how life is happening for others in their life. But I think he feels comfortable to ask mom that, and I think or he feels comfortable asking me about things that he may hear other things from other kids that he's not necessarily saying that's got to be right because my friends are saying that. So, in this day and age when, kids are unfortunately getting a lot of information from the internet or from, friends because their parents are, both working and they don't stay closely connected to them. I think you lose some of that. So it's just so awesome just to see, just at 14 years old, he just so loves just sitting there asking her questions and he can laugh at himself or laugh at her in a joking way just to keep it light, to where it doesn't have to be. And there's times where he gets, they're very similar as far as just kind of being stubborn or just kind of being kind of it's my way. It's like I'm always right type thing. Just the stronger personality, and he definitely has that similar to her. But then they can shift into that soft side of just sharing or asking a question around a life event or life experience, and it's just it's just such a cool. It's just very evident to me that there's always going to be that space for either one of them to ask those questions and not feel like they're threatening or not feel like they're um, anything other than coming from their hearts. And I think that's just a beautiful thing to witness from being a father.
So do you think moms can ruin a kid? I don't want to say man, because now I'm trying to figure out how to put this in. Can it be too involved?
I think we really have to be willing to honor space for each other, because I think there's the family time. Hopefully, we're all three or four, whoever's in the family is able to sit around and connect and bond and share and laugh and giggle and do all those things. But I think having that, it's kind of like having this time for yourself. I mean, I think there's the time and space for me and Anthony to go and do the things that we do together, and have that, connection. For us to have those conversations that are more related to, things that he's going through as a young boy. Um, and then for her, him to have those questions, with her about just things that she's dealing with in her life, or questions around the family, or other things that he is curious about, because he wants to know as much as possible about us. And I think that's a beautiful thing, just to see that he's not so wrapped up in his life or other people's lives, to where he wants to know as much as about what's made us the way we are. That just gives me hope and understanding that that's the questions he's is either asking himself now, or will ask himself about who he is. And for him to be able to step into that, if he's curious about those things in the people that brought him into this world, he's open to asking himself those same questions. So I think I think I had experienced times where I felt a little bit of that jealousy, like she's bonding with him at a deeper level. But I think it goes in cycles as well. I think I spent the first 2 hours with him before she even spent any time with him when he was born. So that was just due to the circumstances. But there's going to be plenty of times where him and I are off on a weekend, or he wants nothing to do with her because it's something that's related to girls that she would have no real direct experience around talking about. So which is cool. I mean, I think that's that point where I can just let them go and be free and have fun with kind of that whole, just the knowing, right? I don't, being away or not being in a room, knowing that it's like right now. I mean, they're in the other room, and they're probably talking and having something, some type of moment together that's just continuing to build their relationship, knowing this can be there forever.
Cool. I was just wondering. I was like, man, because what made that pop into my head, I was thinking about a comment I heard, but it kind of struck me the wrong way, and they were just like, "I'd rather be my child's friend," and I was just like, "Whoa, that could be kind of dangerous." Like, I want to be their friend, but at the same time, like, I kind of want to be. There is some dictator-ish type.
You have to be the parent. You have to be.
Yeah, I'm the parent. Like, and that's what made that go through my mind. I was like,
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we should. I guess I don't feel like my son needs to be my friend. I mean, it's kind of cool to think that we're buddies, I guess, and I'll call him my buddy. But I think it's just more, he's my son, and I love him and care about him, and want the best for him. Does that mean we're not friends? I guess, what's your definition of friend, right? What does that really mean? And we enjoy each other's presence. We spend time together. Is that what friends do? I guess yes, but at a deeper level, are we just better? Are we better friends, or are we just we're father son, kind of going through life? But yeah, I think there's times where um, you don't want to see them hurt, or you don't want to see them struggle. And usually that's the role of a friend, right? Is to pick somebody up and to support them, and make sure they feel okay. And I guess we sometimes feel like that's our role, thinking that we're their friend, versus our willingness to say, you need to stand up on your own. You need to deal with this on your own. You need to figure this out. And does that mean that we're not still their, the best parent we can be? I mean, I think that's our role, right? They're depending on us to give them the best insight that we have to allow them to be successful. And at 14 years old, he doesn't often think that that's why we're telling him what we're telling him. But
right.
there's going to come a day where he'll be probably saying or remembering the same things that we're telling him, because if he decides to have children someday, he's going to go, wow, now I know what my dad, or now I know what my mom said when she said that. It's like I'm in this thing.
Yeah. Man, I can't tell you how many times I'm like, oh, that's what my mama was talking about. Or like, then is like, damn, I sound just like my mama. That's the one. He's like,
Funny
oh,
you said about the jealousy thing, because I remember my dad always, and I don't know if it really bothered him, but he used to always say when he'd see the football players like wave and tell, "Hey, mom," he would always say, he'd always make the comment, it's like, why don't they ever say hi to the dad? And I think when you say that once or twice, it's like, okay, you're just kind of joking around because we're servants, and we were practical jokers, and we make those little subtle comments. But he said it more often than not. So I just wonder if he felt that lack of appreciation, or feeling like he was of value, in his relationship, because I think that's something he struggled with. He didn't know necessarily, didn't feel the confidence in himself to where he felt like, I'm being the best dad I can be. I think that's a hard place to come from when you question, you've been told, or you just buy into being a lesser version of yourself, and then you kind of then to subtly put those things out in the universe. Why doesn't like why doesn't the player say hi to their dad? Just subtle things like that, I guess, give you an indication of where their mindset is. And
yeah,
but I guess get back to your initial question. I mean, it lights me up more than it makes me feel jealous when I see him spending time with her, because it's his mom, and he loves her, and who am I to try to impede on that, because I get plenty of time with him as well. So it's, and my wife loves her space, so she doesn't always want him laying there, crawling all over her, or invading her space. I mean, she appreciates her time by herself. So he has to learn that, and knowing that that's something that he'll probably have to navigate through, when he starts having a relationship and understands personal space, because he still at times, doesn't quite understand personal space. But yeah, I think as far as a mom, I think I think moms just have that innate desire to just do what's best for their family.
oh yeah,
And obviously there's the exceptions, or there's the circumstances where that doesn't play out that way. But
yeah. I mean, it's just, I think it's naturally that way.
we can learn a
Yeah,
lot. I think just unselfishness. I think I can look at myself at times and look at myself as sometimes being selfish, and can I learn and appreciate some of the unselfishness that a mom gives to their children, as a way to kind of be more willing to just give versus just wanting to receive.
yeah. I mean, hell, look at animals. Like, it's, we're animals we're just humans. We're just the most evolved animals. But I mean, you look at a calf that comes out, the bull is there. They know the bull, that's dad, but it's just that natural connection to moms. And that's like, I was trying to jokingly talk about it, because you look over and like, oh, wait a minute, I'm not gonna care one matter, because I know it's gonna get to a point to where you gotta come to daddy.
Right.
Whereas you just gonna look at me like, man, that's a dude. You probably know, hey, so this girl I like, or you might even go to mama, because you might want to see, okay, well, what did daddy say to get you? Let me try that with this girl, type deal, right? Um,
I guess we don't
so
want to follow nature too closely. What is it? The praying mantis that is it praying mantis? There's an insect, I think it's the praying mantis, that
yeah, where she rips his head off,
he has birth and rips the part of his head off.
right? Or the Black Widow. Like, whoa, wait a minute. I'll pass.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like that's what happens, though, right? It's like, geez, you ripped my head off.
I should have been right. Should have kept on a chastity belt. Oh man. Man, it's been a good one though, man. We always talking about man stuff, and we've done a couple of series on fatherhood. And, this was a good one, man. Just to kind of sit and think about moms, and I know just this little conversation just going down, I got a deeper appreciation for my mom and for the mother of my child, my
Yeah,
baby. Like, you know,
Waiting,
it's
yeah, not waiting till Mother's Day to give appreciation, to what they've done and what they, continue to do for us in our lives. And eventually we leave this earth, and whatever happens to us, we don't know. But while we're on this earth, I think it's important for us to have a relationship, whatever that might be, with our mom, knowing that we have that innate desire to have connection, obviously deeper connections with the ones that brought us into this world, our siblings, those that we love in our close circle. And it's our choice. Like most of the things we talk about here on the channel, it comes down to choices that we make. We can make that decision to have a better relationship with those in our life that we desire to have it. And that's something the listener might want to, at least, as we're talking about, moms, what does a mom mean to you? Are you somebody that has a close relationship with your mom? Are you somebody that has a disconnect? Is your mom still alive, and you still holding on to maybe feelings that you can let go of and have some release and reprieve in your life, and appreciate the good things that she did bring into your life? So, just it's awareness. For me, as I sit here now and think about my relationship with my mom, I know there's always continued things that I can do to develop a stronger relationship, and that's up to me. It's also up to her to do that together. And just be open for space in your life to grow. And again, that's why Cedric and I show up every episode, to give the best of ourselves, to talk about things that resonate with us. And if you take one or two little nuggets that you might be able to learn from or share with somebody else that might be inspired by that, then we're doing what we're trying to do here. And we're just showing up the best way we can. And if it resonates with you, fantastic. If not, we're still continuing to look at how we can better ourselves in our own relationships with our moms, with our children, and to just continue to evolve. So I appreciate each and every one of you for any time you've listened to us, sometimes putting up with us, sometimes laughing with us, sometimes like scratching your head like, what the hell are these guys talking about, and why am I watching them? Appreciate you showing up for that. We're trying to show up for you, and I will turn it over to the amazing Cedric Edison, who's done a fabulous job here this evening.
Man. Appreciate the time. Appreciate y'all joining. Man, moms are a beautiful thing. Not trying to take nothing away from y'all daddies that's out there, but we know we special too. But man, I mean, just the beauty of it, capability to be able, your body to morph into this capsule, and carry this baby, this human being around, and being able to survive that whole ordeal. Wow.
Just imagine sharing your body with some growing fetus inside of you.
Man, I couldn't, dude. I couldn't. Like, Kanisha was in labor for damn near 2 days, man. Like, I couldn't imagine going through that and lugging him around. You got 10 pounds or whatever. Oh, I'm good. I'm good. Like, they the MVPs, man. And, so I don't know what your relationship is like. If it's not, if it is not the best, just, you can release that and try and tap into how you would play it different, and figure out what you learned good from them or bad, what not to do. And if it is, man, if it is a good one, kind of like what we doing, just enter into that space. And that's why we created it. Hopefully something sparks something to where you can call your mama up and just, hey, I appreciate you, mama, for being that superhero. And if it's not a bad, a good relationship, at least, they carried you to term and still brought you to this world. So you can appreciate them for that, because it could have went totally different. So yeah, man, I appreciate y'all joining us. Appreciate you, my man. I love seeing you every week. And man, I guess we'll see y'all next week, right?
Yes.
All right, all right. So until next time, y'all, we'll holla.